I love to go walking in places like this, in the woods where it's quiet, where there's a sense of timelessness, the comings and goings and challenges and stages of life. All these things can kind of melt away in a sense when you're in a natural setting. So I like to bring that to my art. The past few years I've been working with worn found objects attached to other harsh materials. Since 2005, burlap has been the primary material that I've worked with, and I've attached both natural and raw materials and small objects with industrial strength adhesives to the burlap. I generally don't paint on the actual objects. I like to retain their natural characteristics the way that I found them. Some of the most commented on items that I've worked with are very organic materials from creatures no longer with us. One day I stopped along on a very desolate road towards Lake Mattamuskeet, which is a very sparsely populated area in the state. And I saw a very scenic pond very close to the road, and I pulled in there and walked next to the pond, and in the pine straw I noticed some white objects sticking out. And I said, what in the world is that? There's nothing else white here. And as I got closer, I saw bones of all different sizes sticking out of the pine straw, and I said, oh, this is terrible. Someone has been slaughtered and murdered, and here's all that's left. And that's really what I thought it was. When I got closer, I found out it was a huge collection of deer bones. Hunters in the area had cleaned ducks and deer there, and over the years, the carcasses had been reduced to very clean, pristine white bones. In all of my work, the composition is really the part that really drives most of what I'm doing. One of the most time-consuming steps in the process of completing a work is laying out the objects in many different varieties. And quite often there are hundreds of objects involved in a particular piece, and I'll play around with it, for quite a while until I come up with something that I really feel is strong regardless of color issues. The textures have to interact quite a bit as well to make a piece you have that strength that I'm looking for. Many of my paintings and the subject matter is very, very adult. In one painting I did, A Matter of Life and Death, near the center there are two frog carcasses. They're smashed flat, they're very small, different species of frogs. Most people don't notice it in the painting, but near the center there are two opposing frogs aiming towards the center as if they are jumping up towards something. So the kids love the frogs. In a purely abstract piece, quite often someone will see very specific things. Who is that man in your painting? Or they will just have all kinds of things that I have absolutely no idea. Most of the time, though, people tend to get pretty close to what I'm shooting for. I certainly want to suggest ideas and topics that I feel are important and relevant in art and in life in general. I was out of art for at least a decade, and I thought I could immediately jump back into it and it would be like riding a bike. A couple weeks later, things would be smooth and easy. And it was quite a shock and a real call when I entered a lot of juried shows around North Carolina. I was rejected routinely at many shows, and it took several years for me to really kick the rust off. It was good, it was painful, but good to face the reality that the work that I was doing at that point wasn't that innovative. It wasn't particularly skilled or particularly unusual or special in any way. And then as I persisted, the caliber of ideas improved, and by painstakingly working through the process of bringing these materials together and inventing ways to do that, the quality of the work began to improve. In general, society favors immediate results and productivity. Put in 40 hours, get your pay for that week. Whereas in the creative realms, you have to operate quite often on a leap of faith. You take an idea and work with it. Often there'll be a dead end. You'll put some time in on a project thinking this could be something. And after you get 2/3 of the way through it, you realize, well, it's just not that interesting. It's not that good. It's not going anywhere. I believe Edison said, I found out 1,000 ways to not make a light bulb. And it's very similar. Risk-taking isn't always immediately rewarded. Some people will just be turned off by your decisions. They'll question, why would you bring those materials together? It doesn't fit within something that they're familiar with. I'll always consider myself a painter, whether others call me a collage artist or an assemblage artist. I'll always view myself as a painter.